Welcome, I'm Nina Gryphon, and this is the Astrology and Magic channel. Today we'll talk about the astrology of week 5 of August 2025, covering Sunday, August 25th through Saturday, the 31st. First off, I'd like to say thanks to all of my patrons. I appreciate all of your support and interest. If you would like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/Nina Gryphon and get access to these forecasts early before the general public. At the highest tier, you can also get access to my monthly Magical Elections ebook, which teaches you how and when to make astrological talismans. August 25th, Venus enters Leo. Venus in Leo has a great deal of flair, pizzazz, and a taste for the dramatic. This is the most regal Venus, as she is in the sign of the Sun, the king or the ruler. Compared to her more reticent, inwardly directed, and romantic approach in Cancer, Venus in Leo is completely externally oriented. Recall that Venus now is Oriental, rising ahead of the Sun, so all that visibility and desire for accolades and attention is enhanced. In addition, Venus in Leo brings hot and dry weather, as she is naturally a cold and moist planet, but in Leo, assuming no other modifying aspects, she cannot easily create moisture or cool air. She will be modified, however, because simultaneously she will trine Saturn, who brings down temperatures, though not necessarily moisture, as he is a dry planet. Now, the Venus trine Saturn retrograde in Aries is part of Venus's activation of Saturn and the 3 outer planets. Venus and Saturn together are a measured combination, and in this case, each planet is in the other's sign of debility, suggesting two people or influences who lead each other into error and bad behavior. This trine creates great ease and friendship, but the intended goal and end result of the partnership are faulty. Just because we are given a trine doesn't mean we want to be led down the garden path to our destruction. So now is a good time to be cautious and skeptical, especially if something seems to be coming to us a little too easily. In terms of weather, as I already mentioned, this aspect will bring fair but cooler weather, perhaps a few clouds. August 26th, Venus at 1 Leo will sextile Uranus in Gemini, trine Neptune in Aries, and will oppose Pluto in Aquarius. Here, Venus is activating the larger complex between the 3 outer planets as well as Saturn, and given the Venus-Saturn mutual debility, we need to be careful about where this party is headed. Remember that just because we are given easy aspects doesn't mean we want to follow them wherever they may lead us. It's important now to be able to take the larger perspective and longer-term view. August 28th, Neptune retrograde at 1 Aries will sextile Uranus in Gemini. This is the first of a series of 5 sextile aspects between Uranus and Neptune, lasting approximately 2 years from start to finish. The next sextile will come this November in Taurus and Pisces, and the final aspect of this series will complete in June 2027. The Uranus-Neptune cycle is 171 years long, with the last conjunction in 1993 occurring in Capricorn, and the next one will be in 2165 in Aquarius. This sextile is a major point in the planetary cycle, inaugurating a new worldwide development due to the involvement of outer planets as well as Jupiter and Saturn in 2026 and onward. We take one last step back across the threshold in November, when both planets will have retrograded into their previous signs, but the future is already here. We can expect the sextile to develop the theme set by the conjunction, which marked the reordering of the world after the dual polarization of the Cold War, into a far more atomized and nuanced landscape of alliances and loyalties. The sextile promises more definition, like a magnet orienting iron filings into distinctive patterns. The more recent sextile between these two planets occurred in 1965 through 1968. The French mundane astrologer André Barbeau, writing from a European perspective, viewed this as a time when the West and Russia attained a peaceful coexistence, starting with the International Moscow Atomic Treaty in 1963, and followed by a second treaty in 1967 about the demilitarization of space, and a 1968 treaty about nuclear non-proliferation. However, these dates also align with US President Johnson committing the United States to full-scale war in Vietnam, starting with a deployment of 100,000 troops in 1965. There was no formal declaration of war, or an address to Congress, or any effort to put the country on a war footing economically, or any mobilization of National Guard or reserve troops. The easy nature of the sextile aspect reflects the ease with which we can slide into a huge, committed endeavor at this time, one that could long outlast the exact period of the sextile aspect, as happened with the US war in Vietnam, which concluded 10 years after the sextile aspect cemented US involvement. All right, thanks for watching. I'm Nina Gryphon, and this is the Astrology and Magic channel.